We are back for round 2 against Tazi with the Great Aggressive deck, and I think we have a fine start here with Razor-Tooth Stalker in the center. Let's see what actually we're facing. Dark Heart Conjurer. It's going to be interesting to see what this card does, because I think it's actually quite good. Spells historically haven't been that great, but Dizzy Infusion is a big card. Having this level 1, level 2, I mean, the card is so powerful, I think it makes up, well, especially the Soulbind card is so powerful, it makes up for slight dip in consistency for the deck. And here we have an interesting, yet again, we can move out of the way of a blocker, ignore the other blocker, beat with a Stalker and something else, and play a gigantic Tremorsaur, which is going to be fun. Could actually Mystic to kill the Shade Claw, but I think we'll have better ways of dealing with that later. And then again, blocking it with something like an Aether Tap Shaman could be fine too. I think the 7 health is the most important characteristic here. So we're gonna go with that, I think, and a Tremorsaur here. Let it be an 11-8 and then deal with these next turn. I guess we will have to trade with this guy, but that is fine. Or not. We could actually just Twin Strength and a Swamp Moss Ancient. Ignore the Shade Claw for a while, because our guys are so big, we're probably going to be able to do something about that. And what is our opponent going to do? We can't override his guys here, so this Tremorsaur is going to be enormous, once again. And you see how well it works with mobility here, because I can ignore this Hydra for a turn, which may not be the best proposition. Let's see if we're facing up against an 11-11 or something. But not well, dealing 11 damage to us and not dealing with both of these would be a big problem. Because this guy grows by 2 each turn, so this needs to be blocked, and this guy also needs to be dealt with. So Tazi is in a very, very hard position here, and I can appreciate an opponent that realizes this position is very, very dangerous. It needs to take its time, because this may very well be the most important turn from our opponent the entire game. Because if you take the wrong decision here, anything you do from now on could spiral out of control, and you just have to play a reacting game, and that isn't a winning game. So I think pump on either of these guys is out of the question. There's a Brood Horror, and probably something that deals with this Razor-Tooth Stalker. Not quite. So question is, do we Flame Jet here to push a bit of damage there? We could do that. I guess one of the better ways to deal with it is to Twin Strength this guy and someone else. Probably the Thranic Ambusher. But this is kind of good for our opponent. This Tremorsaur is very important. I guess one of the best plays should be to Shatterbolt here, and then to Twin Strength. This is really tough. I could play this Ancient just here, and Shatterbolt to the Brood Horror. That means we have 3 creatures that are very dangerous. I could also Shatterbolt this guy and Twin Strength this one and this one, or this one and this one, and deal with this. But if the Scorch Hydra keeps beating on us, we should be fine for now. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to Shatterbolt the Brood Horror to keep the Tremorsaur big and to attack with 3 big creatures in 3 lanes. Keeping 8 health on this guy could provide, or could prove to be crucial. Because this needs to be double blocked if our opponent doesn't have the answer right away. That is not quite an answer by itself, so let's see what the pump is. There's a Flame Jet. Okay, and the Runescar's zombie will actually come back, so that's not too bad from our opponent. We are quite ahead right now. Grapple Vine won't deal with the Scourge Hydra itself. We could play the Deep Branch Prowler, but probably it's just better to play the Everflame Aura then. Another possible play is to play double Borean Stormweaver here, because our opponent probably don't have time to play a trick on this guy to deal with the Stormweaver and keep taking a bunch of damage here. And we are winning the damage race, so I might as well improve my position this way. This may be a bit greedy, but I do like the greedy aggressive decks when you're okay with taking 7 damage because you're dealing 14. I guess blocking the Runescarred zombie isn't the best. So there's another decay, which means this guy comes back, but we can deal with it with a double Stormweaver. Okay, the guy is bigger. Taking 7, that guy comes back and is dead. For how long are we going to keep taking 7? That's a question. This guy deals 9, right? Yep. 9 damage there, and we have a great finisher in that spell later on. Gonna take some damage from these and deploy another threat. The life total are pretty close, but the advantage we have on board here is really big, and we didn't level bad cards. I mean, we have double Stormweaver, we have Swamp Moss Ancient, we have Razortooth Stalker, Tremorsaur. So that's pretty amazing. We got good value out of our static, our Shatterbolt as well. Okay, so those guys are not dealt with yet, but the good part is we can just ignore these and deal with them next turn. This sets up for a trade on our opponent's part, while something like Borean Stormweaver and Deep Branch Prowler, which is actually the best aggressive card right here. Although, yeah, it pushes for slightly more damage, but the 12-12, I think, if things go awry, could be very important. We'll deal with this Runescarred zombie with this guy next turn, and we can block here with a Flame Rift Instigator. So if our opponent can't deal with this guy with 1 card, which is not the most likely because it's very big, I think we win the game from here. There's the Scourge Hydra. I guess that's the card that does it. Oh, he's gonna buff this guy even. Interesting. I'm not sure that is the best choice, but it is definitely a possible choice. Out of these, I think I'd like to level Colossus because it gets the biggest, and we want to keep pushing in several lanes here. We're taking 11, but since we have 3 aggressive creatures, we're going to get more mileage out of having the attacker, I think, than to have the defender, and we can defend here with anything. Then again, we do have a lot of... do we have good blockers for that? Next turn, if we draw double level 2, we do not. Well, in the case of drawing an Ancient, that would be fine, I guess. Let's battle here and play the Prowler, I think. Keep on pushing damage. Okay, so we got a Swamp Moss Ancient over here, and then a Razortooth Stalker. There is a risk here, getting both of these eaten would be a problem. We'll see. We really haven't left many decisions on in which lanes to play Tutazi. needed to have drawn the right cards to be in this game, and so far he's drawn well. He's definitely in the game, but if there lacks an answer to both of these or one of these cards, problem with this guy being small is that this guy gets eaten by level 2, so it needs a double brick for this to be a problem for the opponent. And there's a witch, and okay, so trades with both. That is very fine by me. I feel pretty safe in this position, especially since we have a perfect stalker here, and this is the perfect blocker for the Scourge Hydra to keep some pressure. So the game is likely over at this point. I could block this and block this, I guess, and the stalker needs to connect twice to kill, because it's 19. It's 8 plus 11, that's 19. And if we deal the 8, we have double Mystic plus Pump that does a lot of damage, and Shatterbolt that immediately just kills our opponent. So if we connect with the Stalker, we may be able to play a defensive game from here on out. And again, we're only at 32, so that might be a problem. But if our opponent doesn't have an answer to the Prowler here, once again, our opponent is dead. So we are forcing our opponent to have the right answers, and a bad draw would have led to a loss in a number of turns before this one, and it is still true here. Deploying the 7/7s at level 2 and level 1 just makes for a lot of these decisions. Okay, so 1 damage from there. This is a good trade, which means that we can push in several lanes here. Can't deal with it. Didn't draw a hand that could deal with the Stalker, which means that we win the game. And we'll be back soon for round 3.